Joining us now, Democratic member of the House Oversight Committee, Congressman Jared Moskowitz of Florida. Thank you very much for being on the show this morning. Can you just explain to our viewers what are the legitimate questions about Hunter Biden out there, and any connection do those questions have to President Biden being involved in any way? I'm hearing from my Republican friends that President Biden did crimes just like Donald Trump. And I'm thinking they're missing something in this, and there might be some disinformation floating around out there. But clear up for us where you think there are legitimate questions of impropriety and possibly more.
Yeah, thanks, Mika, for having me. So first of all, if your friends are saying that, then they're getting the message that the Republicans are intentionally putting out. Republicans, the MAGA Republicans in the House know they can't save Donald Trump, right? He has the triple crown of indictments right now. He's going for the final four. I mean, he's batting 1,000 on every indictment we thought he was going to get. And so they know they can't save him. So the whole idea is they want to make Joe Biden just like him, you know, the head of the Biden crime family, like somehow Joe Biden all of a sudden is Tony Soprano. But there is not a single shred of evidence that has anything to do with Joe Biden. Now, look, Hunter obviously has the tax issue. He has the gun issue, and he may have further issues. And we're going to find out because Trump appointee David Weiss is going to get into that. I mean, he's going to be the special counsel who's going to investigate it, not just the 30-plus senators that sent a letter, including Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz and Chuck Grassley and Marsha Blackburn and Marco Rubio, but 90-plus House Republicans sent a letter saying they wanted David Weiss to be appointed special prosecutor, including, you know, most of the Freedom Caucus asked for that. And so, look, they have a little amnesia. That's what happens today in politics. They think that the viewers don't have any memory. But there's not a single shred of evidence that goes to Joe Biden. And if you listen to the Republican language, you can see it. That's why they never say Joe Biden in any of these committee hearings, or in fact, or any of the tweets that the committees put out. They say the Biden family, or they say the Bidens, you know, with an apostrophe S, you know, trying to link Hunter to Joe. And so, look, Hunter may be in trouble. He may have done other things. And if he did those things, then he needs to be held to account. And you're not going to hear Democrats saying, oh, this is the weaponization of the Department of Justice. No, we're going to say that no one is above the law, just like we've been saying with Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm. Congressman Elise Jordan here. How does this special counsel impact Biden going into election season? This is going to be a long shadow and is going to provide the Trump campaign fodder for saying, oh, well, look, he's got corruption problems, too, in his own family.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Hunter Biden thing isn't ideal. I mean, obviously, you know, the president's son has a special counsel, special prosecutor that's been appointed to investigate these matters. But that is a Hunter issue. It is specifically a Hunter issue, and it is not a Joe Biden issue. At every single solitary turn, at every committee hearing, at every witness the Republicans have brought, there's not one link to Joe Biden. In fact, the last witness, their star witness that they brought, specifically said Joe Biden had no conversations about business and he was not involved in the business. And he even said that 1023 form that the Republicans, you know, put out there, you know, that's 7 years old, that said Joe Biden got some money. He said that information was false, and he was Hunter's business partner. And so, you know, look, this is just the nature of the beast, right? We've seen this before. They did this to Hillary on Benghazi. They said specifically what they were doing then. They're saying the same thing. Chuck Grassley said he's not interested in the facts. He just wants to put this out there and let the voters decide what it all means. And that's the political silly season that we're in right now. But look, the Republicans have opened a can of worms on this. Right? We have long talked about Jared Kushner taking billions of dollars from the Saudis. And so that's what the Democrats are going to talk about. The Democrats are going to talk about, you know, okay, if this is something that you want to focus on and you're, you know, interested in quote unquote justice and fairness, then we have to look at how Jared Kushner, who had no investment experience at all and no Middle East experience at all, was sent to the Middle East over the Secretary of State and wound up getting a $2 billion investment from the Saudis and hundreds of millions of dollars from other foreign countries. And you don't listen to me, just listen to Chris Christie. He's the one saying that this should be investigated.
Yeah, Congressman Jonathan Lemire here. Steve Ratner brought us some data on the Kushner investments a little earlier in the show. Yeah, and my own reporting certainly suggests the White House despite Republicans claiming the fix is in and that David Weiss is trying to, will sandbag this. Let's remember, he's a Trump appointee. No White House is happy about a special counsel appointment, and this one they do recognize now will shadow the re-election bid. But I wanted to ask you a little more about what your Republican colleagues in the House might be up to next. There's certainly been an increase in chatter here. They'll continue with their own probes of Hunter Biden. That's one thing. But they say they're going to use this, the idea that the fix is in, two-tiered system of justice. You will know the rhetoric, as nonsensical as much of it is, to engage in an impeachment inquiry of the president himself. Can you give us a sense as to what that would mean if your Republican colleagues went down that path?
Well, I fully anticipate that they're going to impeach Joe Biden. I think there was some thought that they could impeach Mayorkas or they can impeach Merrick Garland. And by the way, they may add that in as a sweetener just to impeach the entire government and make really the impeachment inquiry worthless, quite frankly. I mean, going forward. I mean, if you're going to start impeaching just every single solitary elected official in the government. But I expect them to do this. This is something Donald Trump wants. This is something that Donald Trump has told them he would like to see. I think, quite frankly, the leadership in the House has stopped this from happening. And I got to imagine the reason they've stopped this and they've slow walked it so far is because the polling on it ain't good. If the American people wanted this, Joe Biden would have been impeached 6 months ago when they got power. They would have started that inquiry immediately. But something tells me that the polling isn't so good. And they also know the American people are going to rally around Joe Biden. As soon as they start impeaching him with no evidence, just based on innuendos and this Hunter stuff, I think the American people are going to rally around the president. I think we're going to see that. And I think that's what the Republican leadership knows, which is why they buried these articles of impeachment in committee and didn't give it a single committee hearing yet. But listen, as we get into, the fourth indictment, as we get into the primary season, I expect them to have a impeachment inquiry running at the same time as the Donald Trump hearings are going on. And that is an intentional thing that they're going to do to try to have this dual messaging that Joe Biden is just as bad as Donald Trump. But listen, the American people have known Joe Biden for 50 years. He's been in politics for a long period of time. He's a known commodity. You know, the idea that they're taking this family and trying to turn him into the Biden crime family, I mean, it's creative, but it's just not true.
Democratic Congressman Jared Moskowitz of Florida, thank you very much for coming on this morning. We appreciate it.